You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph, and we are going to be talking day 10 of 49ers training camp today. There's a lot of talk about Trey Lance after today's practice, and so I'm going to break it all down right here because I did tweet about it after practice, and a lot of people did, but I feel like context matters, So I'm here to provide you that context today that hopefully, helps us feel a little bit better after hearing it, right? All right, so let's start talking about the day for the 49ers. First, there was no George Kittle today. He got a rest. There was no Trent Williams and no Mike McGlinchey today at practice. So no Trent, no Mike, and no Kittle. So offense, slightly shorthanded. Slightly, just keep that in mind. But Nick Bosa was back today. However, it was a lighter day for Nick Bosa as well. He participates in drills, but he is not working on 11 on 11s. He sits those out. He has been so he didn't practice yesterday, and he didn't participate in 11 on 11s today. So what that meant is that, that's kind of a wash. If Trent Williams is out, no Mike McGlinchey, Nick Bosa was also out, so you can call that a wash if you want. And altogether, it seemed like a lighter day of practice. It was shorter. Practice ended a little bit earlier than it had been these last couple of days, and it just felt like a lighter day in general. Some of the defensive starters were sitting out some of the drills today. So, as I get closer to this game on Friday, it seems like the starters, kind of taking it easy in camp. The ones who know what they're doing, don't need these extra reps. They got some breathers in between some of these drills, so good for them. I don't expect that we'll be seeing them much come Friday anyway, so that's good. All right, but let's talk about Trey Lance. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so Trey Lance, you guys saw he was 4 of 12 today. And that's bad, right? I mean, there were a couple of drops in there as well from the receivers, and there was also an egregious interception to Warner that Trey Lance threw. And pretty much it's been the same thing in all of these interceptions that Trey Lance has thrown in camp. He's just not seeing defenders, like linebackers. He's kind of missing them, and it just looks very similar to the Jimmy Garoppolo interceptions that we've seen. Like not always seeing the defenders. And I will say that pretty sure Trey Lance had to throw that ball out before he wanted to. So, maybe he didn't get a good look at everything around him, obviously, but these are things that he's going to want to he's going to want to need to clean these up before we get to week 1, because thing is, once he starts putting some of this on tape, teams are going to start adjusting, and they're going to start looking for this and just waiting for him to throw an interception. So hopefully Trey Lance can clean this up a little bit, at least before week 1. And there's still some time. There's time for him to do that. And the reps are going to help. So what's going on, Mariah? Yeah, I mean, I also thought that Charvarius Ward could have had an interception on Trey Lance as well. And really all the quarterbacks got intercepted today. Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy. So maybe we just chalk this up as a good really good day from the defense, and we can feel good about that as well. But let me add some color to the Trey Lance talk. He was 4 of 12, and he started 11 on 11s red hot. Like, he was 3 for 3. He looked great. I was like, okay, this is exactly what we need to be seeing today. He had connections with Deebo Samuel. He found a soft spot downfield, and Trey Lance hit him. It was a great throw, I thought, going downfield to Deebo, and those guys look like they're getting their chemistry right this week, so that's always a good sign. He also threw to Brandon Ayuk. That was his second completion of the day, right over the second level, right over linebacker Oren Burks, and I thought it was a just beautiful throw where he put it out of reach for the linebacker. That's just some good stuff from Lance. You see plays like that, and you're like, wow, okay, like this is well, not a rookie, but it is a first time starter doing this. Second year quarterback. He looks good. So then the third completion that he had was to Kyle Juszczyk. Trey Lance escaped the pocket, rolled to his left, hit Juice on a check down, and he did do that under some pressure. So I thought that was also good that, rolling out of the pocket, keeping his eyes upfield, finding his man. Those are all really good things that you love to see out of a young quarterback. Also, on that play, I saw Elijah Mitchell pick up a nice blitz by Hufanga. So good play by Elijah Mitchell there that, kind of kept Trey Lance clean in that pocket, at least allowing him to, roll out. But yeah, so those were the first 3 plays of 11 on 11. Then immediately after that is kind of where it unraveled for Trey Lance. He threw an incompletion to Deebo Samuel, and it was high. Then the play after that, he threw to Ray McCloud along the right side. McCloud had his arms extended. The ball hit his hands, but again, McCloud had his arms extended. So this is one of those subjective ones where, if you're one of those people who think that if the ball hits the receiver's hands, he should catch it, you would have thought it was a drop. But there are some people, who think that might have been a bad throw by Lance, and both could be true. Honestly, it obviously wasn't a good perfect throw by Lance. The fact that, if your receiver has to extend his arms and make that much of an effort to get the ball, it probably could have been a better ball. And so that's one of those things that's very subjective, and either way you look at it, I don't fault you. So I personally counted that as a drop by McCloud, but also could have just as easily been considered just a bad throw by Trey Lance. Just completely led McCloud too far there. And then the play after that was Trey Lance targeting Brandon Ayuk, and that one was a drop. So 3 plays right there, 3 straight incompletions, one high to Deebo, the other, kind of far out of McCloud's reach, though it hit McCloud's hands, and then the drop by Ayuk. So 3 incompletions just right there. And 2 of those arguably drops, one of them definitely being a drop. So that's kind of how the day started to unravel after the first 3 completions from Trey. So then after that, and by the way, all these plays that I'm talking about, kind of, they spanned over the course of a number of sequences. So they pretty much during 11 on 11s, they give the quarterbacks 3 to 4. Usually it's 4 plays, and then they rotate them. So Trey Lance gets 4 plays, and then it's Nate Sudfeld 4 plays, and then it's Brock Purdy 4 plays. So these plays that I'm talking about did not all happen back to back. It was just I'm only talking about Trey Lance's sequences. So it spanned a few sequences. So next play by Trey was an incompletion to Fumagalli where he overthrew him. Although the one good thing that I saw out of Trey Lance for that one was that, he showed some nice movement in the pocket, and which is always a good thing. And that's one thing that I've seen consistently out of Trey Lance throughout camp is that he seems to have a good feel for the pocket and, being able to move around, evade pressure, but still keeping his eyes upfield, as I've mentioned. So take the good with the bad. Incompletion, overthrow, threw him high to Fumagalli. Again, George Kittle was not practicing today, so guys like Fumagalli, Tyler Kroft got a little more run, with the ones today. So the play after that, Trey Lance probably would have been tackled by Hufanga on this scramble that Trey Lance had. And it was a pretty short scramble anyway, so it wasn't a huge gain. And then the play after that was an incompletion to Sermon, but I thought Alubi had some nice coverage on that one. So the second 11 on 11 session. So there's a first session. They have a break in between where they work on some special team stuff. And then they have another 11 on 11. So there's a break in between, get the first session out of your head. And, it's a brand new session in the second portion. So on that, Trey Lance had to check down to Tyler Kroft for a short gain. And by the way, the second session was all move the ball period. And Trey Lance had 2 sequences during move the ball period. And again, practice was short today, so it was just those 2. So Trey Lance checked down to Tyler Kroft for the short gain. Then Elijah Mitchell run up the middle for a short gain. So going on third down, Trey Lance he was targeting Brandon Ayuk, but Charvarius Ward, jumped in front of it and honestly should have had the interception. Charvarius Ward pretty much just dropped the interception. So that one was a bad play by Trey Lance. And let's see here. So then the last sequence of the day for Trey Lance, and this was again on move the ball period. He had a toss to the running back, who I think was Trey Sermon on that one, but I'm not 100% sure. And then there was a Lance designed run for a short gain. Following that, there was a run. I think it looked like it was Juszczyk. And then there was Trey Lance try to target Brandon Ayuk over the middle, although that was incomplete as well. And Jimmy Ward actually rocked Brandon Ayuk on that one. And I thought it was a good ball by Trey Lance. I think he hit him right where he needed to, but Jimmy Ward was just right there and hit him immediately. It was it was actually kind of scary. I thought Ayuk might have. I was thankful he didn't, get concussed or anything on that one, but I thought ball was on the money. Good throw by Trey Lance. Just better play by Jimmy Ward, like getting to Brandon Ayuk. Otherwise, that would have been another incompletion. So again, context matters. I thought it was a good play. Should have been complete. Good play by Jimmy Ward. And then final play for Trey Lance during 11 on 11s. He was targeting Tyler Kroft, and then that's when Warner got his interception. He did not, Trey Lance did not see Fred Warner, it appeared. And I think he was under pressure on that play as well, so I think he got that ball out sooner than he would have liked. But, still, this is now somewhat of a trend for Trey Lance with his interceptions, where he just seems to not see the defenders. Very Jimmy esque, but yeah, as I mentioned, I mean, these are some of the things that I think Trey Lance needs to work on before week 1, and I think he will continue to work at it. And another thing is when he does, hit guys inaccurately, it's usually high, and most of the time it's throws outside the numbers. So even checkdowns, honestly, like I've seen some checkdowns, you know, I've seen some bad misses by Trey on checkdowns and throwing to the flat. Just throwing it too high. And yeah, that's something that Trey Lance needs to work on. If you guys saw my tweet from yesterday's practice, there was a drill that the quarterbacks were doing where they were, getting the ball quick and, throwing it. I personally thought that was, they added that drill in intentionally because Trey Lance had kind of been, you know, not been so accurate getting those balls out to, to the flat and, outside the numbers. So I think they made an effort to work on that, and that's something that Trey Lance needs to continue to work on, as well as seeing the underneath defenders. And if he can, clean that up before week 1, that would be great. If he still shows that during week 1 and beyond, then we can expect some defenses to take notice and prepare accordingly, because yeah, I mean, that's what defenses do. They're going to adjust based on what they see. Right now, it's a controlled environment. It's just training camp. It's just day 10. So it's not anything to panic about quite yet. I mean, this is what these practices are for, and there's still time to clean it up. So, let's give him that chance. More reps is always good for Trey Lance. And yeah, I actually thought that Brandon Ayuk spoke after practice today, and he had a great quote about speaking about Trey Lance and how he did today. Here we go. I'm going to read this first paragraph here for the audio listeners. So this is Brandon Ayuk. He said, "The best thing about Trey, he walked off the practice field and he was still the exact same way today. He talked about it. Talked to us after a couple plays he wished he had back. Talked to us the same way as if he were to hit a play. What he saw, what he didn't see, what he liked. That was on me. Maybe we should be here." He was still talking to us, trying to figure it out. Level, even keeled dude. We don't worry about him at all, really. We'll look at it. He came in and said, "Let's take a look at it later on today. Then we move on." Great quote by Brandon Ayuk. And I think it just speaks to, the kind of guy that Trey Lance is. Yeah, he's making mistakes in practice, but I think, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that gets down on himself, that feels bad for himself, that, is going to let that one moment snowball into, more mistakes. I think he's the kind of quarterback who, one, has a strong, like the mental part of his game seems to be, very strong. And we've heard a lot about that with Trey Lance. And, we've even seen that he has shown improvements. And I don't want to make excuses for Trey Lance, but at the same time, like, we know what we were getting when the 49ers drafted Trey Lance. And yeah, it's his second year, but this is his first year as a starter. He may as well be a rookie. I mean, yeah, he got some mental reps last year and some, a few real in-game snaps, but overall there's still going to be a lot for him to work on, and I think he's going to work on those kinks throughout the year. He's not going to be perfect right out the gate. I'm going to say this over and over again. You guys hopefully aren't too tired of me saying it. But he's not going to be perfect. And as long as we see gradual improvement from him, I mean, that's really all we can ask for. All I can say and ask of fans is that they be patient, because when I do what the good things I see out of Trey Lance, they're really good. They're really good. So, again, take the good with the bad. So they're going to be some not so great days, and we just need to expect that, and we need to be okay with that, because that's the whole point of all this. He's not going to be Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen right out of the gate. He's got to work on these things, just like those guys worked on their things. So give Trey Lance that opportunity. Be patient, and good things should come out of that. So that's all I'll say about Trey Lance. But overall, the running backs still, continue to look good. This has been a good week for them. These last few practices. And Jason Poe, he actually got some. I think he has been getting some second team center snaps for the last couple practices, but I thought that was thought that was notable. If you follow me on Twitter, I did post a video of Jason Poe. Because I wanted to show everyone how small I knew he was small, but like when I saw him in person next to the other offensive lineman, it really hits you. You're like, whoa. So yeah, Jason Poe is tiny. He's really tiny. So like if you go on my Twitter, I have that video on there to kind of show you guys what he looks like next to the other offensive lineman. Tiny, but he's been able to hold his own pretty well, like considering that fact, and it makes it even more impressive, to be honest. And I was saying earlier today, like I think it's because he just has a lower center of gravity, and he's pretty stout too. Like if you look at his build, it's very, I don't know, like it's just very stout. So he has like a really good base right off the bat, it seems. So even though he's small, he's not automatically getting overpowered by guys. So yeah, I like Jason Poe. I mean, I don't know if he'll make the roster. That's yet to be seen, but I would definitely give him an opportunity, maybe practice squad. But yeah, intriguing player for sure. All right. Let's so I talked about Trey Lance, talked about the running backs a little bit. Let's talk about the safeties really quick, because yesterday Hufanga was late to practice. Not late, but he had been early. He'd been the first guy at all of these practices. And then yesterday he was not, and that was weird. And then we saw Tarvarius Moore getting some snaps with the ones. So that was also not weird, but it was just out of the ordinary of what we had been seeing. So, it made me wonder, maybe the 49ers want to do more 3 safety sets. Maybe, they want to use Tarvarius Moore and Talanoa Hufanga, situational, and have them in roles that fit their strengths. Hufanga, as we know, is not the most athletic guy out there. However, when he's closer to the line of scrimmage, it seems to be like a very good spot for him and where his strengths really shine. So like if that's the main area where they have him working, I think he'll look good. So I mean, why wouldn't you put him there? And then for Tarvarius Moore, I think he would fit a little bit better with what Jaquiski Tart did. I'm not comparing the two and saying like he's similar, but I'm saying he can fit a similar role to an extent. So yeah, they can potentially use both of those guys, and maybe they do. Who knows? But yeah, Hufanga I thought looked good today because I think yesterday I said he was kind of off, and Mosley I wasn't sure if he had the day off, but Matt Barrows said he saw him running on the side of the field, so like he didn't participate in 11 on 11s. In fact, Diamador Lenore was the outside corner with the first team for in Mosley's place. So that tells you a little bit as well about the pecking order of the cornerbacks. Of course, Jason Verrett is not out, still rehabbing, but as I had suspected, the pecking order for the corners is Charvarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, then Diamador Lenore, and then I would assume Ambry Thomas. And then when Jason Verrett comes back, he would probably be. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen when Verrett comes back. He's too good to not use if he's healthy, right? So, they'll need to get creative, which D'Amico Ryans is a very creative defensive coordinator, so I have no doubt he'll find some way to use Jason Verrett. But yeah, I'd put Verrett at number 3, when he's back for now, just because as of now, Charvarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley seem to be the CB1, CB2. So, but anyway, yeah, not sure what happened with Emmanuel Mosley. I haven't seen anything about him, but maybe he tweaked something and just got a day off today. Not sure. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to get a look at some guys, and you guys know I've been talking about Lenore for some time. This training camp, he's been one of the standout guys for me. Not to the extent of like Brandon Ayuk or Charvarius Ward, right? But he's someone who's like, oh, like he looks like he's improved. Diamador Lenore, so always love to see that. So it was good to see him at corner with the first team today. Again, the running backs looked good. TDP, once again, looking good. Those guys have been stacking their days, all of them pretty much. Michael Hasty seems like he's tapered off a little bit. Not that he's looked terrible, but Jordan Mason, on the other hand, has looked really good. So I don't know. Is Jordan Mason knocking on the door of JaMychal Hasty's roster spot? I don't know. He could be, but we'll just have to see. Once we get into these preseason games, I think it'll tell us a lot about, one, how the 49ers feel about both of those players, and two, how they do going up against, a defense that isn't their own. So we'll find out more about both of those guys. Guys, if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, because yeah, today was the short practice, so there wasn't too much to talk about besides the Trey Lance stuff that I mentioned, and that the things that I think he needs to work on, and I added the context earlier. If you guys missed that, catch the replay. But yeah, if you guys have questions, please go ahead, ask. And also, while we're at it, go ahead and like this video. Let's try to get 15 likes today. How about it? We didn't get the 15 likes yesterday, so let's try again today. Like this video, and also if you are not subscribed, subscribe, because I am going to be at all of the training camp practices, as I have been until the very last day. Tomorrow is a day off for the team. Tuesday and Wednesday they have practice. I'll be at both of those, and then Wednesday I fly back to Colorado, and Thursday the team will be doing a walkthrough for their first preseason game, and then Friday is that first preseason game versus the Packers. So shit's about to get real. And then I'll also be at the joint practices in Minnesota when the 49ers and the Vikings practice together. There's 2 days that they'll practice before their second preseason game. So I'll be at those practices as well. So you definitely want to subscribe. I'll have plenty of content during that time as well. All right. Let's see. All right, let me talk about, there's one more thing here. So, gimme drill. I love talking about this one. They didn't have one-on-ones today, which, I missed because one-on-ones has been by far the most exciting portion of practice. Okay, so gimme drill. There were a lot of starters that kind of sat this one out this time, so it gave some, fringe bubble guys a chance to, make some plays in front of Kyle Shanahan and, see what they had. Before Fred Warner, sat this one out, he did have an interception, but Kyle Shanahan threw it right to him. Come on, Kyle. Fred Warner doesn't need to practice his interceptions. Jesus. But who knows? Maybe him practicing it is how he was able to get that interception on Trey Lance earlier. He didn't drop it. So I don't know. Maybe these drills work. And then Kadar Holman had a pass breakup. Ambry Thomas had an interception. Ambry Thomas is another guy who I think this, they're just trying to build his confidence any way that they can. So even if Kyle Shanahan throws the ball right at him, here you go, buddy. Here's an interception for you. How does that feel? Okay, try it again. Try to get another interception. I just feel like that's how they're doing it with Ambry Thomas and also Leon O'Neal. Although Leon O'Neal, I feel like he's looking better. And so that's good to see. Although I wonder if it's too little, too late. He kind of started improving a little bit the last practice and today as well. So I don't know if that's going to be enough for him to potentially make this roster. I know a lot of people like Leon O'Neal, in the draft process, and a lot of people were excited when the 49ers picked him up as an undrafted free agent. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll keep him around. If anything, maybe a practice squad guy, and that's fine. He can improve on the practice squad as well. But yeah, Ambry Thomas, Leon O'Neal, 2 guys that the 49ers are, they're really trying to get them to get a taste of interceptions and build their confidence. Hope it turns into some more plays out of those guys. So anyway, Ambry had an interception that Kyle Shanahan threw right to him. And then Leon O'Neal had an interception and then also a pass breakup. And if you guys tuned in, kind of late while I was talking about this is in the gimme drill. So these interceptions are only during a drill. It's not during 11 on 11. So if you didn't hear that Leon O'Neal had an interception, it's because it wasn't technically a real interception in a 11 on 11 team period session. So that's why you didn't hear about it. It's just Kyle Shanahan throwing at these guys. So just wanted to point that out. George Odom as well got an interception, which Odom has been somewhat quiet. Not that he's been bad. He's just been, quiet. He's been beat a couple times in one-on-ones. So definitely someone as well who I think they would like to see a little bit more out of. And he was one of the free agent signings of this offseason, right? So maybe he just needs to get a little more acclimated. I don't know, but I've been wanting to see more out of Odom. So maybe the team does too. And then Samuel Womack had a pass breakup. Good play by Samuel Womack. I think he looks good. Flanagan Fowles had a pass breakup as well. And Taylor Hawkins should have had an interception, but it ended up being a pass breakup in the gimme drill as well. Again, like I mentioned, the interceptions in the gimme drill are easy to come by. But when the guys get pass breakups, I would say that's probably more impressive in this drill than anything else because, if you're getting a pass breakup, it just means that you're being disruptive at the catch point and you're getting your hands in there and, you've got some good coverage. And those are the kind of things that I think translate to real games. So, good for those guys. All right. All right. If there aren't any other questions, I'm gonna end it right here. We've been talking for 35 minutes, and I'm ready for a day off at this point. So, had fun talking 49ers football. Join me back here on Tuesday for another 49ers training camp recap. Be day 11 at that point. All right. Nice talking to you guys. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Peace.